goals are not good.
Really?
They set you up for failure.
Oh, interesting.
Bold
Yeah, bold statement. No. Let me explain
Earth-shattering.
myself. So,
I can already see the thumbnail. Welcome back, everyone. We are here yet again with a returning guest, Darcie Miles.
Hello. I actually go by Darcie Day now. I probably should have clarified that. I'm not married.
She's married. No, just kidding. She's not married. Darcie Day, everyone. Well,
Yeah. Thanks.
been nice 2 years since we've had Darcie on here, and
Yeah.
she's been busy.
It feels good to be back. I have been very busy.
Yeah, where have you been? Where are you at? And
Where
where are
have I
you
been?
going?
Good question. So I guess since the last time I was on the podcast, I went to SUU for another year. And then...
Oh, that's right. And you were studying dance?
Yes, studying dance.
With a minor in psychology.
Yes, that has
yes.
changed because
Oh.
I moved to UVU and now I'm getting a BFA in dance. No time for a minor.
What does a BFA mean?
It means a Bachelor's of Fine Arts. And it's
Oh,
more
okay, that
specific,
makes
so it's in contemporary dance.
Oh,
So it's like more
interesting.
intensive, like more classes catered towards that,
Just
like
that
specific
specific
genre.
thing? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so it's a lot, so I was not able to keep my minor going. But I took like 4 classes in psychology. So it was like I learned a lot of good information and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
It'll always benefit you.
Yeah, so that's where I've been. I guess also during that time, I became certified to teach yoga in Guatemala, which was awesome.
Oh, wow.
So I
In
spent-
Did you go to Guatemala?
Yes, I
What?
spent like five and a
Whoa.
half weeks in like Lake Atitlan in Guatemala, like
yeah.
literally living in community on a yoga farm. It
Okay,
was
that's
A
crazy.
pretty
yoga
cool.
farm?
Yeah,
Wait,
a
what
yoga-
is
it
a
was
yoga
like
farm?
hippies.
Like you think you know what hippies are? You do not know what hippies are. Like truly, it was crazy.
Yeah,
So I was
don't
living in
think I know what
community
hippies are anyways.
in Guatemala for that time, and then I
Well-
guess a lot of things changed.
Wait, so how
after
much
that.
longer of school do you have?
I have one more semester.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm almost
Okay.
done. I almost have my degree. So that's where I am now.
Wait, I want to just backtrack
Yeah,
to the
it's all-
Guatemalan hippies
Okay,
really quick.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what
yeah.
makes them so much more hippie than what we
Okay,
see?
I can't divulge some of the information because I think most people will be really grossed out.
Oh, gosh.
But
Well, we
like
do talk about throw
people
up all
are
the time.
it's so much worse.
Oh man! Warning.
So like for instance, like girls don't shave at all.
Oh, that's disgusting.
No, that's not the bad thing. That's not the bad thing.
No, I see girls at the climbing gym with more armpit hair than me all the time.
People are super cool, like
okay.
with being nude,
Okay.
like all the time.
Oh.
You know.
What was I gonna say? These are the not gross things.
gross
Semi-gross.
things?
People don't shower like nearly as frequently as they should.
Like, how much are we talking? Like, once a week?
Like maybe like twice a week.
Okay.
They like jump
Okay.
in the lake though, which is full of parasites.
When I would go in
Ooh.
scout camps, I would
Yeah.
like never shower the whole week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so it's basically just like.
But we were still like
constant,
children then.
That's true. That is
Yeah,
true.
I mean, people believe a lot of weird things. They say a lot of silly things, or just they like live a life that is, interesting.
Did they speak Spanish?
Those people are all white.
Oh.
So-
Oh.
So no, there's
So, when you say like gross, are you talking like stuff like Midsummer
I'm just
movie
not-
kind of
no,
gross
no, no.
sort of thing?
Wait,
Or
No.
Midsummer?
it's just like
maybe
super
maybe
whack.
We'll talk about it after.
It's a super whack horror movie where they go to like this cultish
Yeah.
Nordic country sort
Oh,
of
interesting.
thing. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Anyways,
I
I'm
didn't
sure
watch
they're
it either.
lovely people down
But,
there.
Just wait till after.
Yeah, cool experience.
What-
Learned a lot.
Yeah, what a life experience
Yeah,
right there.
truly.
Okay, sorry. Sorry to pry there a little bit.
Okay. And then
Let's just talk about that, actually.
yeah, let's just dive into that. There's a lot there. So yeah, now I'm finishing up my degree at UVU, and I teach dance. And
Do you have any plans, like within a year? What do you think you'll be doing?
yeah, that's a really good question. It is very unknown, but I'm currently on my audition grind a little bit. Like I'm starting to research companies and like get my video stuff together and get ready for audition season, which is in like a few months. So we'll see if I get on a company that's like ideal, and then I get to just live my dance dreams.
Would you ever dance for the Jazz?
Probably not. I don't see myself doing that. Although it might be fun. Like it
Yeah.
looks like fun, and like
it seems like it would like kind of get
Yeah.
old. I feel like.
I did. Well, here's the thing. When I went back to
You've had
SU
so
my
many
second
games.
year, I was like, what the heck? I'm just gonna do the dance team for fun. Like it sounds fun, and it was fun, but it was so not my vibe. Like it was just not my like I didn't see myself, like I couldn't really identify with that whole like I did, and it was fun. It was so fun, and I really enjoyed it, but it just wasn't like me. Anyways, so I don't think I could see myself dancing for the Utah Jazz.
Fair enough.
Although it probably would be a good time. But yeah, so in a year I see myself hopefully still dancing. Probably will still be teaching dance. Yeah, and just living, hopefully skiing. Yeah. So that's
swag.
that's the vibe.
Very swag.
I also want to say my goal on this podcast is to not laugh as much as I laughed last time, because I listened to it back like 3 weeks ago.
Funny.
And I was like, not only do I sound like I have stupid genius complex, like I'm naive, like it was like the tip.
Genius
Because it was like, I was like the tip of the iceberg. Like
Sorry.
I was barely diving into like this has been like now like a 3-year journey of like, and probably a lifelong journey of like my spiritual and philosophical like endeavors. And it was like the very start. And so I sound kind of dumb. Like I don't really know what I'm talking about.
In the last one? Or right
Yeah,
now?
in the last one. Hopefully not right now. Hopefully it's like a little bit deeper. Now I know that I don't really know that much, but I thought I knew everything. And then I was like laughing the whole time, and I was like, I sound.
It just sounds less professional.
Sounded so annoying.
Yeah.
We learned something interesting about why we laugh so much.
Wait, I did too.
In what?
So it's an argument in my communications class. We talked about
because
how
like you're nervous.
Is it because you're uncomfortable? It's like an uncomfortable.
it's a no. So they attribute it a lot to sitcoms and laugh tracks.
Oh,
and how that also conditioned us
What?
to just over laugh at things as well.
Really?
It is because we feel uncomfortable, because we don't know when to laugh and when not to laugh, because all of that, the laugh tracks were doing for us, is telling us when to laugh, when to think it's funny. When in reality, you watch those shows without the laugh tracks, they're terrible.
They're not that
Okay,
funny.
but
Yeah.
They're honestly
here's why I don't think that theory really works is because I don't ever watch sitcoms.
Okay, but you're still influenced as overall because
by-
everybody's
Because
doing it.
everyone's
else
laughing.
was-
Yeah, because when everyone else laughs, you usually laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like this person, I think it was Klosterman is his name. He went to Germany for a bit, and they don't that's not in their society at all. And he had to pay for something one time. He didn't have money, and he was trying to pull it out of his pockets, and he just started laughing, just like, haha, oops. He was just making all these
It's
weird
like a
noises.
self-defense
People were like, what the
mechanism.
heck?
Yeah.
And he was realized
Weird.
nobody else was making those noises. And he's like, I sound so
So it's a
weird right
cultural.
now.
So it's a cultural thing that was just
Yeah.
maybe like influenced by the. That's so funny.
I'm never gonna laugh ever again.
As you laugh.
Yeah. See, it's too hard.
That's the thing.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing, but there is a time where it just
Yeah.
feels over the top.
Yeah.
And insecure.
And I was gonna say that's what my boyfriend was telling me like a couple weeks ago. His argument was he was like, actually it's a result of discomfort. It's like an uncomfortable feeling or an uncomfortable thought. So
That's how I always think of laughter in that case is like you make a joke or something and you want other people to laugh, so you start laughing and hopefully it gets them.
Maybe you just think you're funny. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could say the same thing with
so
any of these things.
self-conscious about
Like
laughing
maybe
now.
it is actually funny.
me too.
Yeah,
I'm
it's hard
consciously
to...
trying to breathe.
Yeah. It's like now it's hard to distinguish when something's actually funny or when I'm
That was
actually
the
laughing.
worst thing. That was the worst thing. When you recognize someone's fake laugh, when they're fake laughing, with you, and you're like, okay, I'm sorry. Forget I said anything.
Thanks for being
You know?
polite, but...
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
So
let's jump right into this.
Yes.
Darcie. Garci.
Darcie.
I've had a lot of nicknames, but that is not one I have.
Oh, shoot. I'm laughing.
The whole time is just a laugh track.
I know, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, speaking of goals on the podcast, by the way, this doesn't really have anything to do with it, but last podcast, I made a goal to not, put my hands above my face, and I was, watching back when it just came out.
Did you do a good
and
job?
I did a really good job, actually. Yeah.
Well done.
So I'm going to keep it up for
Well
this
done,
episode,
Clint.
hopefully. But at the beginning, I was noticing that I was going like this. But anyways, now you guys can hold me accountable.
Hold you accountable.
Anyway, so Darcie wanted to talk today. She said, one of the first things is goals versus intentions.
Yeah. So this is kind of brought up because of a previous podcast where you guys
shout
talked
out
about
Cameron. Braithwaite.
Yeah, which I literally loved that podcast. And I also loved what Cameron had to say about this kind of situation briefly, which was you guys were talking about the past, present, future model or whatever. And how how are you supposed to plan or think about the past or whatever.
Yeah.
So goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can you have goals and stay present? And
Cue the clip.
Here,
Sorry, Tanner.
I got you.
here is my theory is that goals are not good.
Really?
They set you up for failure.
Oh, interesting.
Bold
Yeah,
stance.
bold statement. No. Let me explain
Earth-shattering.
myself. So,
I can already see the thumbnail.
think about this. Goals were not a thing forever. Goals were just not a thing. Jesus, when did he ever talk about goals? He didn't. No, I'll get to that. Goals are like a Western society has like recently come up with goals. Like in the 80s, they became super popular. This idea of goal setting, reaching your goals and stuff like that. So it's a very westernized linear model and mindset. Okay. And for the past 2 or 3 years, I've been literally like training my brain to stop thinking about things linearly.
Like, is it trying to get from point A to point B?
Yeah, or like thinking about life linearly or time linearly. Like, there's so many linear models in Western society. Like, life is looked at linearly. Yeah. Like, it's just all that way. And
it's like Arrival.
Like, think about the
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, think about like the plan of salvation. The way that we learn it, linear model. Like, there is a graph, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Everything that we learn is on this like plane that is like, point A to point B to point C to point D. This like step by step by step by step.
I'll have to send you something because, sorry to interrupt, like our teacher specifically changed that whole model for us one time in class. Just because he didn't like, he called it, that's the real estate version because it's talking about going from place to place. And he talked about the state version, like about the state of being
beautiful.
It.
Beautiful. That's
I wanted
what
to just
I'm
interject
saying.
that.
This is what I'm saying. So the idea of goals is just, it's not good for the brain to be in this future focused mindset. And that's what goals do. And also, goals set you up for failure. Because if you have a goal to do something and you don't reach it, you fail. And so that subconsciously that like really affects you. And it might also consciously affect you. So that's my claim. My claim is that goals are actually not the way and that they are future focused and that it's not even necessarily something that you'd want to have. So instead, and what a lot of hippies talk about, a lot of other people talk about, and what a lot of like Eastern like kind of ideas are, is that you can live your life with intention, which I'm sure it is a word that is now thrown around like everywhere. It's everywhere.
I need a new word.
Live intentionally. Everyone's Instagram bio.
Okay. Well, really, Kate. So really, like, let's say you have an intention for something. There is 3 ways to to go about that intention that can like actually help you be fulfill it or whatever. Or like you have that intention and it comes or like you find it or whatever. Anyways,
you have another guest on the podcast.
So there's 3 ways, and through all of these ways you can be guided by spirit. And this is the great thing about, actually, one more thing about goals. You don't know what's gonna come. You don't know the future. There's no way that you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then once I get this, then this is gonna happen.
This reminds me of the scene.
This step. You don't know. You have no clue.
This reminds me of the scene in Kung Fu Panda when Oogway and Shifu are talking, and Oogway is like, you need to let go of the illusion of control. And Shifu's like, well, there are things I can control. Like, I could control where the seed is planted. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I need to watch Kung Fu Panda again.
And then Oogway, well, I think it's really good because Oogway's like, yes, you can control all that, but no matter what you do, it's going to be a peach tree. Yeah. You can wish for an apple or an orange.
That was actually another topic that I had like idea is like control and wishing. Oh. No, control and wishing it were different.
Interesting.
So
relevant. Anyways.
No, sorry. I just like there's so many ways I need to take this in. Honestly.
Okay, but let's not talk about intentions. So
Okay,
there's 3 ways to go about intention. So think of like personally right now, a good example is I would like to be on a modern dance or contemporary dance company.
So you could say that's a goal.
That's a goal.
It's an intention. Okay. My intention is to be on a contemporary dance company. Okay? This is my intention.
Okay.
This is why, guys, language is so powerful. Everything is energy. And the way that your brain forms around language is really powerful. Mm-hmm. So even though it might to you seem subtle, it might seem like it's basically the same thing. It's really not.
Well, it's like Chick-fil-A. They go like, my pleasure.
That's not...
Wait, what does this have to do with Chick-fil-A?
They use the language to shape their culture, is what I'm saying.
That's
okay.
true.
Anyway,
And maybe their mindsets a little bit.
Sorry, that was a little distracting.
So here's the first way. This is what a lot of people like talk about, like manifestation, which this is like a whole nother topic, which I'm not going to dive into, and why it can be kind of dangerous in a lot of ways. But this way is, I don't like to call it manifestation because there's like a lot of other things in that. But
I feel like that word's also thrown around a lot too.
So much, and people don't really fully understand it. It's that stupid genius complex that they read one book, they hear one podcast, and they're like, I know all about manifestation. And I'm like, sis, just do some more study. Anyways, so there's claiming it. You can claim an identity or you can claim something, and it will naturally, you will find ways that it will come to fruition. So like if I claim I'm on a contemporary dance company, or like let's say I want to be on, this is like literally the best contemporary company in the world.
Okay.
So it's not happening, but
The Jazz.
it's called Batsheva.
Jazz.
Like Batsheva Dance Company. Like I am a contemporary dancer on Batsheva Dance Company. If I claim that identity, things will start showing up in my life that help lead me to be a dancer on Batsheva. Closer and closer and closer.
Okay,
And
that's
you
really
make
interesting.
choices based on what shows up. Like, okay, does that lead me to being on, like, I am Batsheva dancer, therefore the universe has to have those things, like, start to show up in your life.
Right, okay. So in my entrepreneurship class, a guest speaker came in and she said that she made this goal poster. And she like put like, see the 7 wonders of the world, be married to this guy, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And like she like looked at it a couple years later and she realized that all of it had come true.
Really?
Yeah, just because she had like made a poster about it, basically.
Felt like her
Just kind of like a vision board.
Yeah,
more?
yeah, like a vision board. And so like you're saying, like I think that she subconsciously made decisions that would get her to those places or to, you know, accomplish whatever thing she had put on there.
Okay.
So that's
really cool. And I think actually it's really powerful when you own an identity that is like let's say you wanted like a girlfriend or something like that. Cool. Or like I've like instead of saying
I laughed because I was like,
instead of saying I have a goal to have a girlfriend by the end of the month or whatever, if you just start claiming that
I have a girlfriend?
No.
Okay,
Sorry.
That you
If
will have a girlfriend?
No, get this. No, you already have it. You have to feel like you already are it. Like I already have to feel like I'm on Batsheva Dance Company. If Tanner feels like he's a boyfriend, if he feels like I am a boyfriend, I am a boyfriend. A girl, like, you have to play that role.
That's different
you
than,
play the role, and then it shows up for you.
Okay. Interesting.
And
like
Because I was trying to figure out like how this breaks down different than saying I have a goal to be on that versus saying I am on that.
Yeah.
And just like what the subtle difference is in that. And like when you claim it, like versus like setting the goal, it feels like, I don't know, you're kind of going against the grain a little bit, like you're trying to like get to somewhere versus like claiming it, you're naturally like becoming it a bit more.
You already feel it, and once you start making choices, you naturally start making choices that bring you closer to that identity. Even then, and this is where you're getting at, is that it takes away the separation.
Okay.
It takes away the separation between you and that thing. There's no more reach.
Oh, I see.
There's no more reach for it. You already have it.
Right. I'm not that yet, but I will be that instead of just saying
I am.
Yeah,
That's me.
Yeah.
And
in
like,
the future.
I've seen so many people, but you have to really feel like you already are.
Yeah.
And then it'll just come. So there's no lack. There's no sense of lack in
There's
that.
no lag time.
Or lack with
Or lack, yeah.
But yeah, that's number one. That's one way of being, having intention.
So that's interesting you bring that up. I actually just read Atomic Habits. Good book.
Oh,
Have you heard of it?
I've heard a lot about it. I've read parts of it.
Yeah. It was everywhere. I was seeing it everywhere.
It was everywhere.
YouTube videos were like, read this book. And it was like on the shelf of the BOE bookstore. James Clear, I think.
Okay.
Really good, actually. I thought it was a little overrated, but it was pretty good. But it starts out as like, before you start making habits and these things, you should start off with identity. Instead of saying like, I should memorize such and such and such, say, I want to be a scholar, right? So if you're a scholar, then you will memorize those things because it's who you are.
Oh my gosh. No, this is the thing. That's why identity is so powerful. Like the power of identity is everything. It completely shapes who you are.
Yeah, it's like a
and the
self-fulfilling
choices
prophecy.
that you make. Exactly.
Yeah,
And this is actually, I'm just gonna very shortly tie this into the church with like, okay, I feel like Latter-day Saints very typically feel like I have to do this and this and this and this, and then I'm righteous.
Yeah.
Instead of claiming, which a lot of other Christians and evangelical people do and stuff like that, they claim righteousness, they claim Jesus Christ, and then they naturally want to do good things. They naturally want to do those things. Instead of saying, like, I will be righteous, I will be with Jesus when I get these things. Just already claim it. Already be
really
righteous. And then you'll want to do good. It'll just change your heart. Anyways.
Yeah, I like that because I feel like President Nelson is like making a really heavy emphasis. Like, your first identity is a child of God.
Yeah.
And I like how he also talked about like, all these other things are secondary and they'll come and go.
Yeah.
But you got to remember your first identity.
That was a good devotion. I loved that, listening to that.
Okay. This has all been incredibly insightful just because, so I've been, like I said, I was talking about this earlier to you, like this whole little Christmas break, I've been trying to like create like a self-sustainability plan to just like make myself more capable of giving and doing and focusing throughout the next semester, because I felt very depleted at the end of this last semester. And I was trying to figure out what it was, because I feel so different now than how I felt in high school, honestly. And obviously they are different environments, but it's not just the environment that feels different. And I think a lot of it is just purely identity. I was looking back in some of my journal entries from the summer between my junior year and my senior year, and there was a lot of identity formation that was happening then. And I remember one specific event, Trek. Love Trek. But it was my birthday out on Trek. And I was like, at this time, I was really trying to figure out, I'm like, who am I going to be? Like, who am I actually going to be? And I got these letters from my parents. And I didn't, like, it was the first time I actually read something and cried, you know, from this. But it was just about them really telling me exactly who they thought I was. And I guess in that sense, like, I maybe didn't use those words then, but I kind of claimed that then. And I naturally started to do so many different things because I saw myself as, or said that I was someone that was more charitable, someone that wanted to serve, someone that did all these different things, rather than just saying, I want to do those things, but being like, I am that type of person, you know? And I all felt so natural. Yeah. I straight up loved everyone I felt like that year at school, because it wasn't, I'm trying to love everyone, but I was just like, I'm a loving person, you know, I'm a patient person. So that kind of changes how I'm going to look at things these next couple of weeks.
Very cool.
See what I do. But
happy.
Yeah, cool things for sure.
That is really cool. I like that a lot.
That's really cool. So do you see how like this is present? Like it's all now. Like it always is now. Mm-hmm. Anyways, the second one is putting yourself on a path. So this is like you make an intention, and then you are led by your intuitive, or like your intuitive nature, your spirit, and you're led to make choices based on your intention. So you just put yourself on a path, and it's like, okay, does this align with my path? Yes or no? Or like, is this in my, like, let's say, so I'm claiming that I'm a professional contemporary dancer or something. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking it would be fun to go to Montana for a summer just to like go and work and do granola things. Is that part of my path? It sounds fun, right? But is it in that path? No.
That's really good.
So that's the second way, and it's like, and it's being also, it's a lot of being led by your intuition and like your gut instincts rather than like your head, and you just make choices. Yeah, it's all about choice. Like this one is huge on agency.
Mm-hmm. That's actually really good too. There was a section of Atomic Habits. Sorry, I'm bringing this up a lot, but he talks about how. Like, he thought that there was this, like, section where he talks about how it's so interesting to him how people will make this one decision and it'll just drastically affect the rest of their life. Yeah, like, I made a choice to delete social media, and forever my life has been better, right? Or like, get rid of TV, or move houses, right? Whatever it was. And I thought that was really interesting. Just, like, one decision that
is really interesting.
Affected their entire trajectory
of their life. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Actually, I deleted social media after I went to Guatemala or whatever. And I really felt that be, like, a powerful shift in my dance career. Like, I genuinely, like, that was, like, one of the intuitive things that was, like, that's not on your path. Like, that's not leading you, like, closer to your intention of that thing or whatever. So it was like, it was like, bye. Okay. Bye. Now I have it again, but it's literally for dance. So it's different. It's like more of like a tool than like a I don't know.
You have to use an
ego thing.
Yeah, it's not
it's not evil. Yeah, it just wasn't for my path.
Right. It's like dating apps. Just kidding. We won't go into that.
Guys, I know plenty about that. Literally, your whole episode, I'm like, oh, it's been a long 4 years. It's been a long 4 years.
Did you agree with a lot of things that were said?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Really? 100%. Would you say positive or negative overall?
Oh my gosh, that's the thing. Also, when your Polar Positives episode, I kept thinking about this thing that we call lemnis skates in my movement fundamentals class. It's a very like woo-woo class, actually.
It's a polar, like...
It's like yeah, kind of the idea. And I thought about this. It's like sometimes positive, sometimes negative, sometimes positive, sometimes... And it flows
like
in and out.
Like an infinity sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember when we learned... What is that unit in math? It's like polar graphs, isn't that what they're called? The weird circle graph sort of things? You have the cardioid, the
oh my gosh, I forgot.
Yes, secondary 3.
Hey, so like actually, it's really funny because like I've had some positive experiences on dating apps for sure. I met a lot of people through it, and I think I had a lot of good dating experience. Like I would not have gone on nearly as many dates, met nearly as many people, but I also had a lot of I had bad experiences. But I feel like nothing like so major that it like turned me off of it. But wasted a lot of time just like swiping. It was like what you said, kind of like a game sometimes. And even though I wasn't on there necessarily like for validation, it did like feed my ego a lot in a lot of ways that like weren't healthy for me as an individual.
Yeah, for sure.
And also it teaches you to judge people based on very superficial things or whatever.
Yeah. Not to dive too far into this.
Anyways, you guys already talked about that.
Well, I was gonna say just last thing. Since we've done that episode, I've asked like a lot of people about like what's their initial
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're initially like, oh, negative, right? Not because they listened to our episode or anything, but just because that's their initial response.
People are just kind of turned off by it.
Yeah, But then I say, well, okay, but you probably know someone who is positively affected by it, right? And everyone knows someone. Everyone knows someone who like met their
so many people
spouse.
that met
How
their...
many people really know someone that's really poorly affected by it?
That's
Not many.
true. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyways, we can go back.
So yeah, we have finding yourself on the path, or like choosing a path.
Yeah, so the first one was claiming it, owning an identity, and
There's
then
a quote,
finding
actually.
yourself on the path.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Can I just share real quick?
Yeah, totally.
It was actually about Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Do you guys kind of know? They were kind of butted heads a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so someone asked Malcolm X like, "Oh, don't you agree with what Martin Luther King is doing?" And he said, "Yes, but I think you'll agree that if he's not on the right path, he's not going to get to the right destination," or something like that. So it was really insightful to me because it's like, if you want to get to a certain path or a certain destination, you have to be on the right path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. And I think a lot of people think that they can do multiple things at once or choose different types of things, but yeah, you
Different
really,
things that lead to the same place.
if they contradict each other, you're going to find yourself somewhere messy. Yeah. Anyways, and then the last one is, I think for a lot of people, a little bit difficult, which is you just working with God. And it's like the idea that you pour your heart to him, you give him your heart and what you desire, and like tell him your intention or whatever. And then you pray to be guided through that intention. So it's like just day to day living in trust of him and letting him like open up doors for you and choosing it. And that takes way more faith. Like that is your faith
I like
path.
that a lot. Yeah, that is faith.
That is
right?
faith. It's faith as a practice.
Yeah.
It's really trusting him. And the thing is if you got to be more careful with this one, because if God puts something in your path that doesn't make sense, because a lot of things, God is a mysterious God, and it might not make sense for your path. Like you're like, what the heck is this? This has no relevance, but it might, because God is a mysterious God and he does things in unconventional ways.
Right.
And so if you choose not to do something or go into that door that he opened for you, he's not going to open you another door as fast until you like really like change your mindset or whatever about it. So
I like that a
that's
lot.
the third one.
So I had two things with it. First one is, for me right now, I don't know what it is that I'm like trying to get to, like, or trying to go, like, you take this idea, this example of I want to be on this company. Yeah. You know, for me, I really don't know. It's all so loose and vague and whatnot. And it's not to say
dangerous.
But how am I?
No, here's the thing. This is a great place. This is like your time to figure it out. And if you can still work with God and saying, I don't know what I want, but I want what you want for me. And then he can lead you through this.
Yeah, but how much of it too is go make your own decision as well. So
I think he'll give you paths that you will like. And here's the thing is, if you find something, then you can just choose it. And here's the thing is, I believe that God, agency is such a beautiful thing because God lets us choose like our whole lives. Yeah. But I also think that like this is a really great time to like align your will with his, or like ask him, God, what would you have me do? And then or in some way or not, like I like this, I enjoy this, I enjoy this. I would like to, like, maybe there's something vague that's still a goal that you're not a goal, an intention that you have, or something that you would like to do, like to lead you there. Or I don't know, like pray like for ideas and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like, go ahead.
Sorry, no. Yeah, I don't mean to like say this like I'm totally lost. It's more just to kind of like poke at it a little bit.
Yeah.
But like the idea with this, this actually just came from the good old studies I had today. Started the Book of Mormon over. And for whatever reason this time when I was reading and I was led by the Spirit beforehand, not knowing which things I should do, it made me wonder, did he know at that time that he was actually being led by the Spirit? Like when he was going into the city,
that's
Nephi,
a good question.
when Nephi goes into and finds Laban.
Because he's writing about it afterwards.
He's writing about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Is he just accrediting later that he's saying, I was led by the Spirit? Or in that moment, was he really just like very confident that he was being led? But I think It's more of the latter, more of the
Former?
The former,
Yeah.
yes. That he didn't necessarily know in the moment, but looking back, he was like, "That was a spirit."
I think a lot of people.
I agree
I
with
think
that.
a lot of people like live their lives that way. Like they're like, I was led by the spirit, but I think that sometimes
Sometimes,
Like I think there's definitely like a good chance that he was led by the spirit because.
I'm not saying he wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
saying,
like,
did he know
That
exactly?
he knew. I think that he maybe knew that he was being led by the spirit.
Yeah. But I feel like a
But
lot of
sometimes
times.
it's like, yeah, never mind.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, a lot of times it's like you look back, you're like, oh, that was the
Yeah,
spirit
yeah,
guiding
yeah.
me. Whoa.
Yeah, like a lot of times when I'm teaching, I'll be like, oh, we should talk about this right now. And then like later I'm like, oh, that was totally the spirit. Even though like in the moment I was like, oh, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I'm just going to go for it anyways. Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I think of it. I was also going to say, like, I feel like going back to intentions and talking about it with God, I think that something I also learned is a lot of times it's better to pray and say, God, I am going to do this. Can you help me? Instead of saying, can you help me do it? Because I'm going to try to do this.
Yeah, no,
right?
try. Literally take the word try out of your vocabulary.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
Right. So, like, instead of saying, please help me to be good in school today, say, I'm going to be good
I'm going
today.
to be good.
Right?
Yeah.
So, that's kind of, it's more real intent. More,
Yeah. Real intent.
yeah, like, I'm actually going to do this, and I'm telling you that I'm going to do this, so hold me accountable.
Yeah.
And also help me.
And it's empowering.
Yeah.
Because it brings it back to you have the power.
Yeah, you have control.
have the power. You have the choices.
An internal locus of control? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. Where you're
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's from psychology.
An external.
Yeah,
locus
internal
of
and
control.
external.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
dang! Normally I remember most things from psychology, but not that. Did not remember that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
It was funny. I was at my parents' house and I saw my sister, and she's taking that class.
Okay.
And I saw the textbook, and I was like, oh, I remember this.
Right in the
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
good class.
It was a good class. Did y'all take it? I remember we were in the same class.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we were.
He
Yeah.
actually really liked our class.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Uh-huh.
And he was always complaining about the class right before.
Yeah,
Bertrand.
always. I remember Anne was in that class.
Yeah, Bertrand.
Nice.
That was it. Yeah, that was fun. We had the boring class.
It's true. It was
Everyone
boring.
else had like a wild class.
Yeah.
That was so
class.
long ago.
That was a good class, though.
Dang. But yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, that's basically my goals versus intentions, like big thing. And then I have
Oh, wow. We've already been going on for half an hour.
Yeah.
Sick.
So
yeah, but I have one more like the ideas that I
one more idea amongst all of these.
No, not among the
Like a
goals.
new idea?
There's a new idea that goes into it, but it's like a different thing. But this is my goals versus intentions box.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was just trying to think if there was any final thoughts I had. Clint, did you have anything?
Well, I don't know. I just going back, like, to you're not a fan of goals.
I'm not a fan.
Like, I feel like I am a fan of goals, but I feel like we're kind of talking about the same thing.
This is what I'm saying. The subtlety. It's the
Yeah.
subtlety.
Okay, so it's just a
The
word choice.
connotation.
It's
well, the
not just
connotation.
the word.
Well,
It's the
okay,
whole.
connotation,
It's
yeah.
everything is energy. There is an energy about a thing. This is. Do you see what I mean by it's like it's not linear?
Yeah. Like saying you are something already.
Yeah, there's that one. And even on the path is never going to be a linear path. It's not step by step. It's now by now. It's choice by choice. It's always present. It's never in the future. You're just in your choice going through it. So
I guess I need to like look into it
you
more.
choose every intention that you have a choice to be close to your intention or a choice to go further away from your intention.
Right.
And if you already kind of claim it or already have that intention in your heart,
Then you're
then
more
it's
likely
just
to
there.
choose it.
Then you're more likely to keep making those choices. Goals, to me, like this linear model of step by step, it kind of takes away choice. It's just like, this is what I'm going to do today and tomorrow. And da, da, da. It's just like the energy of the thing. So it is subtle, but it really does change the whole thing. And the claiming especially, I think, changes a lot of it. And like, it brings in a lot of intuition. With goals are so heady, naturally, they're just so heady. And you stay in your head and you're like, you rationalize things and you analyze things. This is not like this. This is like led by spirit. It's like if you're praying with God, that's all spirit, basically. You're like just letting things come into your life. Or if you're finding yourself on the path, you're being led by your intuition or the spirit that's connected to everything. And then if you're claiming it, that's also like very spiritual and like more intuitive as well. So the things that show up, it's by miracles that things happen. Instead of goals, it's like you're powering your way, you're muscling your way through something. And it's like it's just linear.
Yeah. And that is
this is
actually
all
a really
present.
good way to approach it, I guess.
So everything is energy. Everything is, anyways.
Like in Avatar.
Well, no, it's just interesting. What my mind is going through as you're saying all of this is I recognize what you're saying, but for me, it's just like it's not about necessarily the words that you're saying, but like the meaning behind them. Because someone can hear you say everything's energy, and they're like, she's a crazy gypsy lady with like rocks and crystals and whatnot. But like what you're saying with that, at least the way I'm hearing it, like when you say each word has like energy in it, it's just like. The way we learn a word, we can all learn it slightly different, and it's a different energy per se.
Exactly.
A different feeling behind it. Whatever word has the proper energy in that sense behind it, you want to use there.
Exactly.
And so it's just interesting as you say all these things, they like feel slightly off to me, but then I recognize this is what she's just entitling for what I felt in these different ways.
Yeah.
So for all of our skeptical listeners out there saying, "What?" I'm just kidding. No, but
that's actually funny. I was having this exact conversation with my mom the other day. We were talking about the difference between like the words judgment and criticism, and how people define it differently, and how it changes.
Oh wow, that is true.
Anyways,
it's fascinating.
Okay, wait. Let's move on.
Okay, moving on. So the next idea
Good.
that kind of ties in. I've been thinking about this one like a lot. There's like a lot that goes into it, which is the idea of wanting and being in a state of want versus kind of choice, and also doing what's good for you. So in like in general, when you say the words like I want this, I want that, it is like it's energy. First of all, the language has
it's like the natural
energy.
man
Kind of, or even if you want a good thing and you still say I want,
I see.
is inherently selfish, and you just separated yourself from the thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because you just put distance between like I want this, and that's also the thing with goals. That's why it like kind of ties in. So there's like this, like let's say, like I want a drink of water. That just separated me from the water instead of saying, okay, I'm choosing to go get a drink of water or something. But there's another language idea that like in my family where we say is I would like or I would love. Because if you say these things like, oh, I would like this, then your mind can let go of it. So if you really want something like if I was little and I wanted a horse, like I really want a horse, my mind can't let go of it. It can't let go of it because it's feeling this like grip on it, this tie to it, but it's separating myself. Yeah. Instead of saying like, oh, I would love a horse.
I would love like a horse.
Yeah, like I would like a horse, or like I would love a horse. That language, even the mindset that shifts around it, like it doesn't tie you to it so much. And there's a really amazing like skill that I learned over the past couple years, which is unwanting. So I was
about to ask.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to ask, is it good to not get what you want?
Well, yeah, that's just so you just unwant it. I'll explain that. So my friend Malia, she's super awesome. She's my hippie friend. We've learned a lot from each
Guatemala?
other. No, we went to SUU together. She is a real hippie.
Okay.
We went to SUU together, and we spent a lot of time together, especially my sophomore year. We actually went through that like kind of ego journey together, and we got all into some woo stuff, and we had a lot of fun. But we learned a lot. We read a lot of books together, and just like had some really cool discussions. But one thing that I remember, there was this one time where Malia really wanted to go to Costa Rica in the summer. And it was just not reading right. Like, it just wasn't feeling right or whatever. And her dad's really spiritual, and she checked in with him, and he's like, it's just not reading at like a 10. Which is basically saying, like, it's not a good idea for you to go or whatever. And she was so mad because she wanted it so bad. And so, like, in her mind, she just, like, it was so far away, and she just couldn't let go of it. And she was crying and just, like, all upset for, like, a long time. Or not a long time, like probably a few days. And I was talking to her, and she's like, it just doesn't make sense. And she was in this frustrated state. And I was like, Malia, just unwant it. Like, and I've been told this a million times by my mom. Like, just unwant the thing.
Interesting.
And if you unwant it, like if your brain shifts to not wanting it anymore, you just completely let go of it. So and your mind cannot be at rest if you're in want.
So what is your strategy to unwant something? Because like immediately what comes to my mind, and I don't think this is right, is you start to think of all the bad things that could be with it, No. It's definitely not that. So what do you do then?
I quite literally, whenever I unwant something, I literally just think like I unwant it. Like that is as simple as that. It's just as I don't want it anymore.
Interesting.
It's kind of hard. It's kind
Like,
of.
do you visualize anything as you're doing it?
No,
Like,
I just am like I don't want it anymore. Like I just unwant it.
I feel
and
like
then
I tell myself I'm okay without it. Is that the same thing?
I'm okay without it. Well, then if you still would like the thing, you can just say I would like it, or I would enjoy
Okay.
that
Yeah. Like,
instead of saying I want it.
I see what you're saying. Like, I feel like a lot of times I'm like caught. Like, I want to go out to eat, but I also want to keep my money, and so I say I'm okay without it.
Well, then that's
Is your
just
money?
that's like the conflict
the
of
food?
interest,
With the
and then
food,
you just
yeah.
have to choose which intention is stronger in your brain.
Okay.
But in that case scenario, if you're caught between it, then you're just like, well, which is like based off my intention, or intentions, which is good. Like, is my intention to save money better, or is my intention to go enjoy this meal that I'm not cooking better, or whatever?
Right.
But anyways, what was I gonna say? The unwanting principle is important because I think a lot of people, when they grow up, they really want something, and sometimes like if you let go of it, then it can come to you. Sometimes, like,
Interesting.
or if you just claim it and you stop wanting it, that's another way. But yeah, the I would love model in language has truly changed my life in a lot of ways.
Maybe I should try it.
But yeah, and then I think it's because the wanting is a little bit selfish. We forget about what's good for me, what's good for the other people involved, or what's good for the universe, like whatever you think about.
Yeah.
Like it's actually really funny. I keep coming up to the cold shower model.
I was actually about to bring that up.
oh, I didn't bring it up this time.
So it's just so funny
Oh, I'm
because
laughing. Shoot.
like,
No, that was a real laugh. I hope.
Sorry.
it's so funny because like the cold shower. I remember like last time I can't remember what I said about it, but it was like
I think I remember what
in
you're saying.
because it was talking about ego.
Like, you shouldn't do it if you
don't wanna do
If
it.
you don't want to do it,
And
you know?
I've changed my belief system a little
Okay.
bit on this. Is goals.
Sorry.
My
Oh, your
intention
hands
is I'm intending to keep my arms down. Anyways, so like if a cold shower is good for you, then great. And then you choose into it. You just choose into it. Instead of like, okay, I'm choosing to take a cold shower. If you don't own your choice at a 10, if you don't own this choice at like a 100%, danger. It's always danger if you don't own your choice at 100%.
Yeah,
If you
I
go
agree
in
with
with
that.
If you
a little
donate
bit
all
of
your money
indecision.
without charity,
Yeah.
then it does you no good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like literally,
Yeah.
like if you have any indecision in your choice, in whatever you do, there's always some form of danger that could come into play. So, but if you own your choice at 10, like it would be good for me to take a cold shower. I'm gonna really choose into it, and I'm choosing to take a cold shower at 100%. Then it's awesome.
I
That's
really
good
like
for
that
you.
because I feel like a lot of times I take a cold shower because I think that it will be good for me, and I end up just hating
Yeah,
it the entire
yeah.
time.
And that's the thing is sometimes a cold shower is good for me, but sometimes it's not. Like genuinely, like you have to check in with yourself and your intuition or your gut feelings or whatever. Like is this, and people can sense in. Like everyone has that power to sense into themselves. They know if it's good for them or not.
No, yeah.
It just takes a quick check in and it's like, okay, is this good for me? Yeah. Am I gonna choose into it? Sure.
Yeah, no, there's definitely been a lot of times where, like, for a while I wanted to just be like, I only take cold showers. Because it's kind of like a cool thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I realized there was times where I was like, I really, like, not only did I not want to do it, I also felt like it was not going to be, like, good for me. Whether I was, like, I was sick at the time or
it's
something.
shocking to the system sometimes and your system doesn't want to.
But there was definitely times, there's so many times where, like, I take it and it feels remarkably refreshing.
Yeah.
And, like,
So
I can
good.
kind of tell which time I'm going to need it and when, you know?
Yeah.
And it's easier
Yeah.
to choose it.
But what's the balance of, like, say you're doing a hard workout?
No,
right?
this is where I was gonna get into.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Is that like you listen, like let's say you're like feeling kind of tired, but like you have a 10-mile run planned or something like
Yes,
that.
I think sometimes it's good for you to push through the.
But here's the thing:
tiredness.
is you have to check how good is it for you, really.
I guess that's
and
true.
this is where the danger comes involved. Are you choosing it at a 10? Are you choosing 100%, or is there indecision? Because when there's indecision, that's when you roll your ankle. That's where something happens on the run that's like bad or whatever. Because if you are not fully choosing your choice, then that's where danger gets
Interesting.
gets a little bit.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like I go and do a workout just because I'm like, I can't miss a day. And then I feel like I don't really get anything out of the workout.
Yeah. And that's like a ego thing.
Yeah. But this is another principle in Atomic Habits, is he's like, if you do miss a day, because everyone will miss a day, don't miss 2 days in a row. I really like that principle as well, because that keeps you honest. Makes sure that you can like falter, that's okay, but just bounce back quickly.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And that's the thing is like sometimes I'll be like, okay, Mom, like I'm going for a run, and she's like, is that good for you right now? You're really tired. And I'm like, you're right. And so then I don't go for a run, and maybe I go do a yoga flow, or if like I still want movement, I'll go for a bike ride, or like I'll switch it up. I just adapt. You just adapt to what's good for you sometimes, or what's good for other people that like around, or like whatever's happening.
This all sounds like great in theory, and I know I've experienced it at times. What's hard for me is like trying to, it's kind of, I guess, goes along with goal setting, but like creating like a plan of like a lot of, whether you're trying to do strength training or different things like that, you know, and trying to always have that feel fantastic, you know. I think a lot of it is when you just need a lot of resources. Like if your only option was to go running, that was it, then you're not going to go all the time, and then those times when you don't go, it's like, what do I do? So we need a variety amongst it all.
It's true. And I mean, there's like tons of ways to cross train and stuff for a lot of people, but what was I going to say, this kind of goes back to goals versus intention, because it's like if you make things like a goal, you're like, I have a goal to do this day, this day, like you have like a plan. Like let's like you're planning for a marathon. Your goal is to run a marathon. You have this whole plan set up. Then it's not so adaptable as in like having the intention to run a marathon. Because it's like you're not failing if you miss a day. Like I intend to go for like a 10-mile run this day or whatever. And if it turns into a 6-mile run, it's like, okay, I got like 6 out of 10. But like if your goal is 10, you just like failed that day or whatever. Like it kind of
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of like my goal is to do this, this, and this, or my goal is to be in shape. And then you're more likely to do things that are better for your body.
Exactly, having like that idea. Or even like already claiming that you're in shape. Sometimes when I'm in bad shape, I'll claim that I'm a runner. Or like if I'm on a run and it's like cold, I'll just like own the identity. I'm like, I am a freaking Scandinavian runner out here like, in these cold winter months, and I'm just like, I feel like this empowered like energy of like through this identity of like I'm a runner, even though I like don't even run that often.
I've noticed that also like when I'm at the gym, because I've been weightlifting a lot more, and I'll like see people and be like, oh, those are the gym guys. I need to be more like, I am a gym guy.
Yeah, you are a gym guy.
I'm here just as much as they are, even though I'm not as big as they are.
Yeah, maybe you don't look like the same as you don't have their same aesthetic,
but I can like still be in shape for me. Because I don't weigh 200 pounds or whatever.
I was gonna say, after your hot tubbing, you do look like you've been getting bigger. You're looking good. You're looking good. Thank
for
you. Sure.
Appreciate it.
Just want to throw it out there.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But so instead of thinking I want to go for
oh, come on.
Funny,
it's hard to accept compliments like that.
It's uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
It's uncomfortable.
You forgot to say the OP line. The one from Tyler? Just kidding. No, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, shout out to Elder Short.
Okay.
But I was just going to say, like, that's the difference between, like, I want to go on a run versus, is it good for me to go on a run? Yeah.
Yeah,
anyways,
that's good.
And then I can tie in by saying, I'm a runner. Own my identity.
I also felt like when I was running cross country, it was like, oh, I am the top dog. My runs should be so fast every single day. Even when it wasn't good for me, I was trying to, like, push the pace. When, like, if you look at the best runners, most of their, like, 80% of their miles are done at really slow paces.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Which is crazy.
So... yeah, this would have been a good conversation 2 years ago.
Well, there's a lot of application throughout.
Well, yeah, not just cross country.
Well, no, just overall. Like I think about on the mission, like the identities sometimes that I would associate with myself, and how that could have boosted me, or how it also held me back at times.
Yeah.
Because of
definitely.
Poor identities associated with myself as I'm an unproductive missionary at times.
That's hard.
Yeah,
that's hard.
It's crippling, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And even in your day-to-day life, like. Oh my gosh, you just win at life if you own an identity in any situation, like a social situation. I love to say, like, if you carry an identity and they change all day long, then you can win at that thing. You can win at it. So like if I'm going out on an outing with my mom, I'm like, I'm a fun and caring daughter. And I'm with my mom, I just own that identity, then I can be a fun and caring daughter and win at that.
That's really good.
Or if you're at a social situation, you're like, I'm a funny and exciting friend. Or you can say, I'm a relaxed and fun friend. Or like whatever. Like you can choose.
I'm way too cool. Just kidding.
You choose an adjective. You choose an adjective and an identity.
Yeah,
honestly,
that's really good.
I was thinking about this a lot at my last family Christmas party because I feel like I used to love my family Christmas parties. I was fine associating with everyone, but this time around, nope, I did not want to talk to anyone. And like, the identity thing could totally play a role into it again. Like, I found myself not being as attentive to others sort of things. I found myself being more reserved, a little less loving, you know? And I don't know exactly why. Yeah. But all very interesting things. I have one final question, but I want to hear last thoughts on this. Mr. Podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I have an excellent podcast host.
But so
anyway,
I have
an engaging podcast host.
Yeah.
I have one kind of like final question, unless there's any other thoughts on this.
Oh, I was going to say something, but I can't remember. It wasn't important.
Okay, so kind of no like right answer necessarily to this, but just kind of a thought. Okay. We talk a lot about all these different things, and so much of it, like we've talked about, is rooted around our language.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Do you think there are studies that show that certain languages that people speak truly affect their level of joy in life? And
100%.
like what languages are it?
100%. I need to do more study on this. My mom always talks about it because she speaks 4 languages.
Oh, wow.
And she's learning, she's learning a 5th. She's learning Italian right now.
Wow.
Wow.
And she talks about how like in a lot of like Latin cultures, because the languages feel so much more open and like kind of like alive, that these people are naturally more passionate and alive and open people. Or how like German people, like the Germanic language, which she also speaks. She speaks Spanish, German, French, and English, and learning Italian. Okay. She says how like in Germany, because the language is a little more like tight and harsh, that people are naturally just tighter and like, harsher or whatever and stuff like that. But I don't know like fully. It's just like I think that also the way, it's not even just the way that the language sounds, but the way that the words are like in that language. So like in English it's like how old are you, but isn't it like how many years do you have in Spanish?
That's
so it's like
also Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, how many years do you have versus how old are you? Old automatically, like...
There's a lot of things connected with that.
Yeah, a lot of negative things.
It would be the same thing.
A lot of, like, negative kind of ideas or whatever. And then, like, how many years do you have is kind of more like how many times have you been around the sun? Like, how much wisdom do you have? Like,
how
you
much
carry
have you
a lot.
gained, you know?
So it's like, it kind of shows, like, maybe they value their elders a little bit more.
How much do you weigh?
Yeah, because, like, people kind of demonize, not demonize, they, like, they kind of... People are scared of old people in this nation.
How much weight do you
have?
have?
Or in English cultures. They're scared of old people.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Anyways, so stuff like that.
No, I've always been fascinated with the structure and ways that language can change us ever since watching Arrival. And that's why I was so excited to serve a mission and learn another language. Yeah. Dutch didn't necessarily affect a lot of the ways that I thought about things because it's very similar to English, honestly. Oh, really? Structure is very similar. A lot of the words, very similar connotations to it. But it just makes me think about and long a little bit, kind of want a little bit for the day when our communication is just leaps and bounds above. Yeah, not just that, but just like where I can truly, where I have the words that will match exactly what I'm feeling everywhere, and when somebody else hears that, they will decipher it. Like I'll be able to encode it, they'll be able to decode it perfectly.
Understanding.
Yeah, language is so imperfect.
Because honestly,
it is.
I think so many of the world's problems and conflicts are just due to miscommunication because we don't understand each other because we decode things wrong all the time from people, and that's why we don't even listen to each other because we're hearing what we want to hear from people.
That's true.
As we decode what they encode in a completely different way.
Oh yeah,
completely. And that's why I literally wish I could dive into this for like 20 minutes. But there's like this idea of like I think understanding people is overrated because there's always going to be a fallacy. There's always going to be something wrong. You're never going to catch everything. You're never going to fully understand. And so you're getting things without context or with the wrong context, or the way that they explain it is not going to mean the same way in your like mind or whatever. In some way, there's going to be something off. And so a more intuitive nature is to really just see someone, like really truly see them. And I think that comes with a lot of natural type of understanding or like more full understanding without having the words to explain it. Like there's not really, it's like a perfect communication when you fully like see someone. Like, and I think seeing is not just, I don't know, like there's no like assumption. It's just like I don't know how to explain seeing
Objective
very
observance.
Well. Like,
Sort of.
it's more like, it's like more on the spirit plane. I don't know how to explain this. Like, really, like, have you ever, like seen someone and you just have this knowing in your heart about something that they're feeling? Like, you just already know it, but you can't put it into words. Like, have you had a moment with someone where you're so connected with this person and you just already know what's in their heart? Maybe not.
Maybe.
I've had like bits and glimpses.
Okay.
I can't think of a specific moment.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I can see someone and like make some generalizations.
But
about...
that's the thing. No, like, this isn't like no generalizations, no actual like thought ideas. It's like not language. It's like seeing someone and already having like a knowing of what. Maybe this is too much.
No.
Like a knowing of something in their heart or like what they
It's an
already
abstract
feel.
idea that we're trying to talk about, which isn't a bad
It is
thing.
kind of abstract. But anyways, there's like this whole idea versus like understanding someone versus like really just tapping in and like seeing who they are on like more of an intuitive nature.
I think that's interesting. I mean, my missionaries, they always ask at the MDC, they always ask, when am I going to be fluent? And the answer is like, you're either always fluent. Once you know one word, you're fluent, or you're never fluent, right? What's the level? Like, you learn 500 words. Is that the level? You know, like if is it 500? Is it 1,000? Is it 15? You know, what's the level of fluency? So it's either that you're never fluent or you're always fluent once you learn one word.
You're fluent
right?
in that one word. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all interesting and ironic that we're talking all about this on a podcast.
It's
About
true.
language.
It's
We
true.
should just all start speaking different languages.
Nah, okay. Darcie, do you know another language?
I wish I should. I'm not gonna should myself. Like, I should know another language.
What yourself?
Have you ever heard that? Like, don't shit on yourself. Like, I should do this. You know when people say like, oh, I should do that. I should do that.
Don't shit on yourself.
Don't shit on yourself. People, I
haven't
love when
heard that
people say that. I
saying,
think it's
but-
I'm
hilarious.
gonna start saying it now.
Yeah. Like, because people are like, oh, I should go to the grocery store. Such a lame sentence.
Yeah.
What about
Don't
I need
shit
to
on
go
yourself.
to the grocery
Yeah,
store?
that's different.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to the grocery store.
Yeah. Or I'm choosing to go to the grocery
Oh
store.
shoot, I'm laughing.
Uncomfort,
Just to tie this all
discomfort.
together.
There we go. Beautiful. Circumscribed into one
The
hole.
Circumscribed.
theme. Guys,
Yeah.
I really don't think that I laughed nearly as much as I did on last.
I think you
that
did a
was
good job.
Yeah.
ridiculous last time.
I think that I laughed a lot.
My laugh is just so much more annoying though.
We should like go through a track who laughs the most.
most?
Like us or me, you, or the guest. And average them throughout
my
all the
gosh.
episodes. I bet I would.
just do a
I
laugh
think you'd
track.
win.
I think I'd win
Just a
because
You
laugh
could
I.
just find
Because I'm the most
my old
uncomfortable.
episode and just it would be
And
laughing
just
half
throw
the
your
time.
laughing underneath it.
So annoying.
Yeah. I was also thinking like, what if someone went through and like did a thing on how much each person talks?
How much they contribute.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that
that'd
would
be
be
interesting.
that would be
Or and like, what's
interesting.
the average length of someone talking to?
Yeah.
So that we can find the sweet spot of you should talk for 10 seconds at a time. Right?
Just it's all planned out.
Yeah.
Go.
Perfectly planned.
But anyways,
Yeah.
off topic.
Yeah.
But we're kind of concluding.
I think
Yeah.
we're kind of wrapping it up. Final thoughts, final words.
Thoughts.
What's the takeaway from this episode?
Take away from
If
this
you can say one
episode.
thing.
Get into choice. Choose into your life.
Okay, I wanted to say this actually
Okay.
when we were doing that. I have this thing. Oh, I don't want to get too much into this.
No, it's okay.
But I
We're
have this
here.
thing where at any given moment you are doing exactly what you choose to be doing, and
Okay.
what you
Yeah.
you deep down want to be doing, right? So, for example, like doing the dishes, right? Obviously, you don't say you want to do that, but you weighed all the options and you decided, well, I should be nice to my roommates or my parents or whoever it is, and so because I'm doing this, I'm showing that I actually do want to do
Yeah.
the dishes.
That's true. However, think about the spirit of the way that you're doing the dishes. Are you doing it out of obligation? Dangerous. Dangerous.
Yeah.
Are you really choosing into it because I am caring about my roommates, I'm caring about my family, and this is just a nice contribution to the home? That's a way better spirit of
Yeah,
doing it. You'll
exactly.
enjoy yourself doing it, and now you
And
won't
you're
resent,
still doing the same action.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but you won't resent the action. And so
exactly.
then you live a
Yeah.
more fulfilling life.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, we can conclude with
Anyways, but yeah, that's what I would say is like really make a choice, because sometimes it
that.
goes,
Take control of your life.
no, not control. Control is a part 2. That's a huge topic. But what was I gonna say? Is
Get into
I guess
choice.
you do, yeah, get into choice. Get into choice. Really,
Live
like what are
intentionally
yeah,
is
live
what they-
intentionally.
And
Except
choose
as
to
much
do
as I
things for
hate
the
that.
right intentions.
For your intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not live your truth, live your intentions.
Good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Amen.
Honestly, yeah. Abundant life.
Yeah.
Lessons
Abundant
right
life, yes, abundant life.
Do you have any last thoughts?
Nope. Right there.
All right.